Hello, 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 and welcome everyone. Wow, what a joy it is to be with you on this Wednesday evening here in Southern California. The weather was simply beautiful. I know that it's not that way in a lot of parts of the country or the world. So, wherever you're tuning in from, I just want to welcome you to tonight's broadcast. My name is Sunshine Daye, and what a joy it is to be with you for this next 30 minutes as we explore recovery and sobriety and those things that keep us from living our best life. Those things that I call intoxicants that we need to be free from, whether they are drugs or alcohol or food or sex or gambling or whatever, shopping, stress, whatever those intoxicants are, being free from them and actually having some sanity and, enjoying our life and, living our life to the fullest. That's what we're here to talk about. That is exactly what we're here to explore and uncover. We got a great broadcast for you tonight because tonight I am giving away a copy of my book, Begin Within, a playbook for living your genuine life. And the way you enter to win is make comments, likes, put up some hearts, start sharing the streaming, host a watch party tomorrow on my official page, Official Sunshine Daye. We're going to post the winner. And if I'm feeling even a little more generous, we'll probably have two winners tonight. And so you will get a copy of my book. Just check in on Sunshine Daye, Rev Sunshine Daye Facebook page, Official Sunshine Daye, to see if you are the winner of my book so I can get it out to you. Now, wow, I see a world where clean and sober people are living their best life and loving it. And so what I have the opportunity to do is provide spiritual tools and loving support for your personal transformation, because I'm on a quest to awaken humanity, in particular, recovering people, to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And I get to do that by being here with you twice a week for 30 minutes in a spiritual practice and in a conversation. So let me know where you're tuning in from. Today, our topic is still bliss. For the entire month of December, we're going to really uncover and unpack bliss. So let me know if you've been experiencing bliss, if you have been tapping into your inner joy, because bliss and joy are our natural states. Now, I've heard it said that there are many laws. A lot of people are talking a lot about the law of attraction, right? The law of attraction. And there are many spiritual laws and universal laws and principles, like the law of gravity, that what goes up must come down, especially on this physical earth plane, that here there's a law, a natural law, and that, if you throw something up in the air, it's going to come down. That's the law of gravity. The law of attraction is another law that many people have been talking about. And today, I don't want to talk about those two laws at all. But today, I really want to dive deeper into bliss and talk about the law of correspondence. So, what is the law of correspondence? So, the law of correspondence says that our outer world is nothing more than a reflection of our inner world. Okay? The law of correspondence states that our outer world is nothing more than a reflection of our inner world. Take that in for a minute. What does that mean to you? Go ahead and type it into the chat there. What does that mean to you? The law of correspondence, that your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner world. And for some of us, we may not want to hear that, right? Because it means that I have to take responsibility for my outer world. Or as I look in my outer world and I see COVID and war and hatred and racism, and, as I see all of that, I go, I'm not responsible for that. But before we actually go way, way out there to COVID and AIDS and disease and oppression, let's just start like real close to home. Let's just start with like, wow, if the law of correspondence says that my outer world is a reflection of my inner world, then what are the thoughts that I'm having and considering that are actually outpicturing in my own experience and my own expression? Because let's take a quick look at the opposite of joy and bliss. The opposite of joy and bliss is misery, despair, tribulation. Dang. Misery, despair, tribulation. And as people in recovery, right? As folks who have been clean, sober, free from intoxicants, like, one of my things was like, yo, I didn't get clean for this. I didn't get sober, to be miserable. No, I could be miserable with a beer in my hand, right? But it's interesting because the things that we have used to alleviate ourselves from the misery and the despair don't work either, right? Therefore, we have been seeking sobriety. We have been seeking to be free from the intoxicants, from the weapons of mass distraction that keep us from actually living our full and amazing life. Now, it's interesting because even when I'm under the influence of misery, okay, I'll call that an intoxicant. When I'm under the influence of misery, no human power could relieve me of my misery. People can come around and be like, yo, sunshine, here's such and such, or here's this, or here's that, or come on, let's go for a walk. You'll feel better. No human power can relieve me of my misery. But joy could and would if sought. Now, thank you, Gloria. Gloria says, I want to believe God wants me to be happy, joyous, and free. Here's the thing, is that God, that higher power is right where you are. And that higher power is joy. That higher power is happiness. That higher power is abundance. That higher power is peace. That higher power is wisdom and infinite intelligence. That higher power, that God that you speak of, Gloria, thank you so much for putting that in there. That higher power that you speak of is that. And you are made of that power and presence. You are the same energy of God, of higher power. It is right where you are. Therefore, that is the premise of what I've been talking about this month so far, and we will continue to talk about it for the rest of the month, is that that's why bliss, joy, happiness, and freedom, that is your natural state of being. So we could even say, it's not even that God wants you to be happy, joyous, and free. God is happy, joyous, and free. And God is living you and breathing you. God is right where you are. So your natural state of being is happy, joyous, and free. However, many of us forget that the only thing we have total control over is our thinking. People can take my freedom away and lock me up, right? Wasn't that what Nelson Mandela said? Wasn't that what he experienced? Wasn't that what all of these writers who've served prison terms, like, they talk about it all the time. They talk about, I can be imprisoned physically, things taken away from me, but the only thing that humanity cannot take away from me are my thoughts. But many of us default and become unconscious, and we fall prey to misery and depression. We fall prey to despair and tribulation because we allow our thoughts to go like on a runaway train. And, for many of us who suffer from alcoholism, right? Or, 95% of the problem is the thinking. And so the idea here is that joy could and would have sought. Many people say God could and would if sought. But, we are powerless when we're in focus, when our focus is on our misery. We're powerless when our focus is on despair. Oh my gosh, I don't know where my next meal is coming from. I don't know if I could do this. And oh my gosh, and we begin to then think ourselves into this circling the drain kind of mentality. And before you know it, there we are, However, because I am in charge of my thinking, I got to take back my thinking and not let it go by default, not let it go by what the media says or what the dope dealer says or what anybody else says, right? I am the captain of my ship. If you're ready to be the captain of your ship, go ahead and put that down in the chat. Like, I am ready to take control of my thoughts. That is someplace that we are not powerless over. We're not powerless over our thoughts. We actually have command of our thoughts. So the question then is, if I'm miserable, if I'm in despair, if I'm suffering, I got to start here. Thus the name of my book, Begin Within. Begin within. I must start here. What are the thoughts that I'm entertaining? What are my attitudes and beliefs that I'm entertaining that are now reflecting on the outside of me? Because by simply tweaking those thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes and making an adjustment to what I'm thinking about, it is there when I begin to take control of my life. Right? I love it. Corn Burt says, set my frequency. That's correct. We have to set the frequency. So what is this frequency that I'm on? Is it negative? Is it negative? Am I busy? Like, because if I'm busy internally going outside, what I'm going to experience is that same thing. Thank you, Holly. Holly says she's ready. Holly says, yo, I am ready to take control of my thoughts and be the captain of my ship. And here we go. Because this is when I get to go, oh man, really? I created this? And this is not just about positive thinking. It does help to be positive, right? Joy is possible. Joy is our natural state. Bliss is our natural state. And when we begin to focus and bring our thoughts to our natural state of being, that's when it's like, wait a minute, misery is not my natural state. Being intoxicated is not my natural state. Being in despair or depressed is not my natural state. My natural state is that natural state that Gloria talked about, happy, joyous, free. But I've been bombarded and covered with all of these thoughts that say otherwise. And you know what? I've been the one to believe them. And so now I get to go, wait a minute. I get to remember the quote that's in this month's topic from Helen Keller. She says, your success and happiness lies in you. Resolve to keep happy and your joy, and you shall form an invincible host against difficulties. Now, for those of us who know about Helen Keller, wow, I mean, her life story, I mean, talk about, we're over here complaining about COVID, and COVID is bad enough and being quarantined. Imagine having to hide from people who are coming after you just because of your race or your religion or your, sexual orientation, like having to hide and be quiet. And yet the words that come out of her mouth is that resolve to keep happy and your joy, and you shall form an invincible host against difficulties. How is it that so many people get sober, get clean, get clear from intoxicants, right? And they begin to just fall prey to misery. But not us. We are about to change that. And that is because we recognize that we have this indwelling power and presence, that our life at the center of our life is a power and a presence. It is life itself. Some people call it God. Some people call it synergy. Some people call it Mother Earth, Father Sky. Whatever it is that we call it, it's not important. The thing is, what's important is to recognize that right where we are, there's a power and a presence. And I get to use it for my good. I get to use it for my good. I love it that Wayne Dyer says that when you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. The things that you look at change, right? So nothing in my life changes until I first make the change within. Until I first make that change within me. And how that begins to change and to start is through some spiritual practice. But I know I had a couple of other quotes that I wanted to put up and have us entertain really quickly. Let's put up one. I forgot which one that I was going to put up. Barry, would you go ahead and post one of the quotes that I put? Barry, by the way, is behind the scenes, my main man who makes this broadcast amazing for me. So thank you, Barry. Here we go. The quality of my life depends upon my quality thoughts. So here's the deal. If you are not liking what you are experiencing, change the quality of your thoughts, because the quality of your life depends on my quality thoughts, your quality thoughts. So are you having quality thoughts? Are you saying, hey, joy and bliss are my natural states? And one of the ways that you can begin to upgrade your thoughts and go from mediocrity to quality and to quality thoughts is by engaging in some time in the stillness and the silence. And that in that stillness and silence, that you begin to recognize a power and a presence within you, this life energy, this life force that is so, so powerful, so precious, so present, that it is bliss itself, that it is joy itself, and that is who you are. So I invite you right now to just pause where you are. Let's just take a few minutes to have some practice, some mindfulness practice. Now you can keep your eyes open if you choose to, But if you're at a place where you can gently allow your eyes to close, I'm going to invite you to do that. And this time, I want to invite you to take a couple of deep breaths. And on the inhale, hold it for about 3 seconds. And on the exhale, exhale with this word shh. So do that with me again. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. And again, a nice deep inhale. And the exhale. And just simply allow yourself to return to the natural pattern of your breathing. My natural state is joy. My natural state is bliss. And from this place of receptivity, from this place of quietude, see what answers come up for you when you ask yourself the following question in this state of meditation, in this state of quietness. What must I be thinking in order to fully experience the joy that I am? What must I be thinking in order to experience the joy that I am? What must I be thinking to experience the joy that I am? And just allow whatever thoughts or images, whatever colors, whatever scents, whatever feelings or emotions to well up. Allow them to just answer the question that you're asking your innermost self, the question that you're asking your higher self. If joy is my natural state, if bliss is my natural state, then what must I be thinking in order to experience joy in my outer and inner world? Now I'm going to ask you to just take another deep breath. Let it out with and to gently begin to open your eyes and become acclimated with the space around you. Notice if you're seeing with different eyes. But go ahead and take a moment and put in the chat what, if anything, because sometimes it comes later and sometimes it comes right away. What was the answer that you got? Like, what must I be thinking in order to experience the joy that I am? And whether you write it in the chat or whether you write it down for yourself, set a timer for yourself. Use your phone. Set an alarm and just have it go off. And at that moment when it goes off, ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Because sometimes when we're just off in a daze or doing things, we're not even aware of the thoughts that we're entertaining. The quality of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. That is the law of correspondence. And I love it. Thank you, Corin, that you said, think differently, but not clear what. And the clarity will come because you're asking. So just like I said, we're talking about bliss and joy, but today we said, oh, what's the opposite of bliss and joy? It's misery, despair, and tribulation. So when I'm feeling, or when my experience is misery, despair, tribulation, doubt, depression, anxiety, the think different is bliss and joy are my natural states. So when I don't like what I'm experiencing, I ask what the opposite is, and then I begin thinking about that. Thank you, Pharaoh. Pharaoh says, thinking about God, how he has me in arms right now. So absolutely, if that's your idea of higher power and you can envision and begin to see that you are taken care of, beautiful. Like right now, I am taken care of by my higher power. That begins to shift. That's the law of correspondence. And if I begin to think that over and over again, the law of correspondence says that my outer world is a reflection of my inner world. And if it's tossed with chaos, that think differently, right? God's arms wrapped around my shoulders. Hey, my best friend, my life, right? Thank you, Gloria. And so, beloveds, I really want to encourage you that this week until Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific, again, that you begin to practice catching yourself. What am I thinking right now? You know, when you sit down to eat, ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? When you're brushing your teeth, what am I thinking right now? When you go use the restroom, what am I thinking right now? And to ask ourselves and to begin to really notice where our thoughts are. Is this a quality thought? What must I be thinking about in order to experience my best life? I can't be thinking that I'm a piece of crap. I can't be thinking that life is, against me. Nah, if I'm going to be living my best life, I got to be thinking that I'm abundant, that I am love, that I am joy, that I am peace, that I'm free, that I'm happy, that I'm healthy, that I am whole. And I must entertain those thoughts over and over again. That's the law of correspondence. It is reminding us that we have to come back to the truth of who we are. And see, this vessel right here is the vessel that higher power, that life is using to navigate on this planet in this three-dimensional form. And so the perfection of life is right where I am. And it's right where you are. The truth is that, the terms alcoholics or addicts or people in recovery or all of that stuff, that those are just labels that have been stuck on us. The truth of who we are is that we are the unique, unrepeatable way that life is showing up in human form. And I don't know about you, but when I remind myself of that, I feel that joy and bliss being my natural state. So make sure that you come back to the page tomorrow, official Sunshine Day, because there's going to be some winners. We're giving away 2 books tonight, and so the winners will be posted on my page. Thank you so much for being with me. It's just such a joy to interact with you and to have these conversations and meditations with you, and to really, you're helping me reach my goal to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Know that you are loved and valued, and that right where you are, the fullness and the power and the presence of life is. Until the next time.
Celebrate life. You celebrate your life. Celebrate the memories, the birds and the trees, the hugs and the kisses, the hits and the misses. Don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait till it's too late. Love and appreciate. Love and appreciate. Show them that you care. Show them that you care, and you'll always be there. Yeah. Celebrate life. Rejoice, rejoice. 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 Celebrate life. Rejoice, rejoice.